ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another beautiful episode of Sunday Sessions. Today I am making my two favourite things to order in a Chinese. We're doing spring rolls and we're doing chicken chow mein. Classics, delicious. We all know them, we all love them. We're going to start off with our spring roll. So I've got a Chinese cabbage. I'm just going to split down the middle, like so. We're only going to use half of this cabbage, but we want this to be like the bulker of our spring roll. Now, I grew up buying spring rolls from my local fish and chip shop. I don't know about you guys, but my local fish and chip always had a spring roll or a curry roll in the window, and that was my introduction as a child into spring rolls. Before I'd eaten Chinese food, before anything like that, I'd go into a Chinese shop and I'd order the spring roll from the fucking incubator, and they were packed full of cabbage. And then slowly but surely started to go to Chinese restaurants and order spring rolls. And I always found the spring rolls in Chinese restaurants a bit like just fucking small, and sometimes you get like a weird paste in the middle and it's just bulked out with stuff. And I thought, why not make a homemade spring roll? One, because they're super easy. Two, they're fucking delicious. And three, if you haven't noticed already, on Sunday Sessions, I just like to cook food that I enjoy eating. I don't like to be like, oh, I'm gonna go and see what's on trend and start fucking doing dance videos. Do you know what I mean? I'm just gonna cook food that I wanna eat. So, cabbage is cut. We're gonna go in with some carrot. Now, there is a lot of chopping when it comes to a spring roll, but it's fine. You just gotta put up with it. We're gonna julienne these bits of carrot. And now all of this is gonna get cooked off before it goes into the roll itself. So we wanna make sure that it's like remotely uniform. What we do want is we want to be able to keep crunch and texture in our spring roll. So we're not gonna go too small on it, and we're not gonna do fucking loads because it does stretch. I'm only making spring rolls for me, Mum and George today, basically. So probably gonna make about 3. If you really wanted to, you could grate these on the big side of the grater if you're not comfortable with cutting. Also, you could probably use a bag of stir fry if you really wanted to be lazy, or if you were really not confident with chopping or how long or how slow this, how quick or how fast you'd be. Buy a bag of, you know, ready-made stir fry bag mix. Just buy that and do the same thing with it. We're also gonna go shiitakes. I've got 2 different types of mushrooms. So I've got shiitakes because I love them. They're earthy, they've got great texture, taste a bit like the forest, autumnal, meaty, and also really good to soak up as a flavour. So where we're adding flavours into our spring roll, a mushroom will just be like and sponge it. And I just really enjoy being able to have something in the mix that's like a sponge that can go, I'm gonna fucking take on all of you lot. A shiitake mushroom's like your fucking friend that gets into, your friend that's a liability that gets onto fights in a night out. Takes everything on, I'll do it, Billy Big Bollocks, walks around, not like a Sepp or a fucking Giraud or a Chanterelle that's just there and pretty, doesn't want any trouble. Shiitake's a fucking, I will punch you up, cuz. Yeah, that's what a shiitake mushroom's about. I've got wood ear fungus or pig's ear fungus. You buy these dry and then rehydrate them in water. If you've ever been to like Jean Impression or a Chinese restaurant of that region, wood ear fungus is a big thing. They just pick these mushrooms like this. They'll be growing in the ground. They'll pick them, dehydrate them, and then you just rehydrate them and eat them. Really crunchy. And can take a long cook as well. Like, the idea of a spring roll for me, for it to all be one texture, makes no sense. I want to bite into it and know that I've got a little bit of bean sprout, a little bit of noodle that I've not told you about yet. Shiitake, cabbage, carrot. You want all of those little different flavors, right? I think, oh no wait, some garlic. I need some garlic. Right, so we're going in with 3 cloves of garlic. Mince your garlic up. I don't want big slivers of garlic. I want this to all be quite uniform. What I don't want in a spring roll is to bite into something and have to pull away. I want it to be able to be bitten into and just be that mouthful. So we're gonna go quite small on everything. The only thing that's gonna have length to it is the bean sprout. Other than that, everything's chopped quite uniformly. I like meat. Sometimes they're called meat pancake rolls, or sometimes they're called meat spring rolls. I like those ones, yeah? So I'm gonna go meat in mine. I've got a little bit of pork. I'm just gonna slice. And then I'm gonna give this a slice up too. Little smaller bite-sized pieces. Now normally in a Chinese takeaway this would be like char siu. This would be leftover pork in the restaurant. But for this I'm just gonna use this pork chop. I had one in the fridge. Pork and prawn meat spring roll is what we're doing, right? Bite-sized pieces. Although spring rolls, Cornish pasties, patties, anything that's handheld is always filled with like cheaper cuts. It doesn't mean that you can't make one at home and put like fucking crab in it and fucking whatever you want, bacon, chicken dippers, whatever it is that you fancy, you can just bang into a spring roll wrapper with a couple vegetables and you're good to go. I fucking love spring rolls. I used to chill at my boy Robert's house. You know, remember Blowjob Rob from the blow drying episode where we did fried rice? His other half used to go to Lidl's and buy spring rolls in boxes of 50, and I'd just be like, I'll bang some spring rolls in the oven. We just sit there baked, eating spring rolls the entire time. Those were the fucking days, man. I miss that world of just fucking sitting, doing nothing, getting absolutely charged, and then playing FIFA until 4 AM. But now I'm an adult and I've got responsibilities and fucking jobs and that. It's long. Ow. Right, so hot pan. What's going to happen, right, is that we're cooking things that contain moisture, yeah? So I'm going to do this all in stages because I want a nice colour on the pork and prawn. I want to cook out all the moisture from the cabbage and the mushrooms and make sure that everything's at a point where it's delicious, wilted, pissed out its water, and then we're going to drain it. So we're going to get this pan hot. We're just going to go in with neutral cooking oil. A fair amount because it needs time to fry. It needs to be in a hot pan. Right, look, pan's smoking hot, yeah? A little bit of salt on this pork. Now this is chopped quite small, so it's gonna cook fast. We're gonna go mushrooms next. Mushrooms, we want to soak the flavor of the pork up, right? And we want to get a nice color and caramelization on the mushrooms. And we're going to do this in stages because if we plonk this, it doesn't matter how hot the pan is, if we plonk this all in, it'd just go, oh, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? It'd lose all of its temperature. We wouldn't be cooking anymore, we wouldn't be frying, we'd be moving into like steaming. So at this point, we want to keep the temperature of the pan up whilst rendering the pork fat, allowing the mushrooms to cook. And for everything just to pick up nice bits of flavour, right? So again, as I mentioned, we're doing this in stages, so we have to think about building and layering flavour. So one of the big flavours that I'm going to have in my spring roll is white pepper. So white pepper in, salt in. You can smell it already. It hits the pan and it goes really fragrant. About a teaspoon of MSG, building character and flavour for our spring roll. All right, look at that. Beautiful, brown, delicious, caramelized goodness. It can go into a sieve on a bowl. Just means that we're gonna catch any juices that fall out. We're gonna let this pan come up to heat again. All of this, now ideally you'd be using a fucking wok, right, over a big burner. But this is outdoor cooking, you're doing it indoors. If you have a wok, congratulations. If you have a wok burner, let me play with it because I've never used one. But to replicate that, you want quite a thin pan with a lip. My neighbour's dog, he does this all the time. He lets his dog out and it just fucking barks in the front garden. You want a pan with a lip that's quite thin, that can heat up very quickly so you can see the pan's almost at smoking point. Then you go in with your oil. Your oil then comes up to temperature and you keep it moving, yeah? Right, cabbage, hot pan. Now the cabbage might spit back at you, it's got moisture. And then we're gonna go in at the same time with our carrots. Big crack of salt. Some white pepper. And another teaspoon of MSG. Right, so we're going to give this a long enough cook for it to start to wilt. From where the carrots go from rigid to almost like, I want to give up, that's where we're going to cook it till. So we've got white pepper in here, we've got salt, we've got MSG, cabbage, carrot, we've cooked off mushrooms and pork that's now sitting here resting, waiting to go inside. Just going to pull a little bit of space, hit the pan with oil, get our prawns in. A touch of sugar, sorry, a touch of salt, touch of MSG, and a little sprinkling of white pepper. Give this all a nice toss. Remember, these are getting deep fried again, so things don't have to be cooked all the way through, but they have to be uniform. Then we're going to go in with a fuck ton of bean sprouts. We're going to get our meat back in. And now the bean sprouts aren't going to want long. And this is the point where we're thinking about building all the flavours that we want in our spring roll. So, while they're wilting, while things are coming up to temp, push things aside. This little space here is just garlic frying station. And what we're doing is we're bleeding this garlic into this oil. It's fragrant. As soon as it hits the pan, the smell goes up in the air. Starts to smell like Chinese takeaway. And we're just going to let this garlic slowly cook out. Let's have a little taste. Just make sure our seasoning's up. We are putting soy sauce in this, but I like to use soy sauce as well as salt because I like to bring the flavour of the soy sauce up. Enough white pepper. It's got that which means there's enough MSG. What it needs is a little bump of sugar. That's 1 level tablespoon of sugar. A tablespoon of light soy. And let that soy and that sugar give us sweet and salty. But that is pretty much it. This mix is now going to go into this sieve. Just to catch any juices, yeah? Now, I'm going to do something that looks fucking mental, but it's not. I've bought some little glass noodles. I've rehydrated in boiling water. Fuck is that noise? I bought some glass noodles that I've rehydrated in boiling water for 5 minutes. Follow package instructions. Don't boil them, just cover them, yeah? These are glass vermicelli noodles. These are going to give us texture, right? Now, hot pan, as much as you've sat these in a sieve, you've washed them for cold water, there's going to be moisture and there's going to be starch on these noodles too. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly flash fry them just to get rid of any moisture, right? We don't want anything that's going to jeopardize our spring roll so that it gets into the frying pan. We don't want any moisture in our spring roll so that when it starts to cook, it doesn't piss into the oil and we have explosions. I want them to stay tight and compact. I can still see that there's moisture on the bottom of the pan and that's what we're cooking away. If you see them here, look, see how they're dancing? Just want to fucking evaporate away all that moisture so they're nice and dry. There's not much dancing happening. If I try to move them, they all move together. They're almost moving as one unit. We've cooked all the moisture off of these, right? And then those are gonna go into that pan as well. And again, just sat over a sieve to make sure that if there is any moisture, that we're making sure to get rid of it. And this is gonna be our spring roll filling. These are gonna be some of the best fucking spring rolls you've ever eaten in your life. I promise you. So look, we're just gonna let this sit, and as you can see, look, you see this? That goes into your spring roll and you put it into the frying pan, you're going to have the shittest time of your life, okay? Spring roll mix is gonna cool down. We can't put the mix in hot because the fucking wrappers will tear. So we need that to be to room temperature. It's also still sitting in the colander. Let all of the juices drip away from that. We're gonna move on to chow mein. So I've cut half an onion and I've cut 5 spring onions, like halfway down the middle into like fucking little matchsticks. That really is the only prep that you need to do chopping wise. Noodles. Don't buy fucking shit noodles from the supermarket. Try get Lucky Boat brand. It's the brand that they use in all the Chinese takeaways. Go to Chinatown if you have to. So these are Lucky Boat noodles that I've blanched for 5 minutes in boiling salted water. I then took them out of the boiling water into a colander, cover them in cold water. Let the cold water run over them for 5 minutes. We're washing the starch away, yeah? Then pour that water out, leave them in a colander. Sometimes I do a little bit of neutral oil and I massage it through, and you're going to let these dry completely, right? There's no moisture. They've got a tiny bit of oil on them, but other than that, there's no liquid on them. The key to chow mein is dry noodles that you can make crispy and that you can caramelize soy sauce onto the noodle itself. That's what gives it its color. If you put fucking wet noodles into a pan, you're gonna end up with the good things that you want about a pasta. Noodles have to be treated differently with the utmost respect, yeah? I wanna be dry and I wanna be able to be fried hard so that all the flavors suck into me, you get me? That is my noodle spiel. The second big thing that we're doing is called velveting. Yeah, we're going to velvet our meat. This is what they do in Chinese restaurants to give you that beautiful, soft, like easy chew chicken, yeah? So I've got a beautiful chicken breast. So look, if you see, this is my grain. So instead of going with the grain, I'm going against it. And I like to do like little medallions, yeah? Like this, because I think they look better in the finished dish. So the idea of the word velveting is to create a barrier around your chicken that means that the liquid stays inside, but also we're boosting the chicken's alkaline level. All sounds like mad fucking maths and science and be like, oh fuck, I can't be able to do this. It's the easiest thing you'll ever do, and it goes a long way. So this chicken is gonna go into a bowl, like so. I've been on a diet where I'm just eating fucking chicken and broccoli, and all I do is fucking marinate my chicken the same way. I've got some light soy sauce here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 tablespoons of light soy sauce. The alkaline raising agent in this is going to be corn flour. 1, 2. And what we're looking to do is mix this together and almost make like a paste on our chicken, right? And also it means that when it fries, it gets this beautiful color, but the chicken almost looks like it's gonna be deep fried. But what we're doing is protecting and preserving our chicken juices. That is the secret to Chinese restaurant or Chinese takeaway chicken. Corn flour, soy sauce, good bit of chicken. Thank you. Spring roll filling has come down to temperature. We're now gonna make spring rolls. The first thing I need to show you is, just to save our own asses, right? We're gonna make a little slurry, yeah? To help make sure that our spring rolls are fully closed and they don't open on us. So I've got some bread flour, strong flour, white flour, and we're just gonna make a paste. 1, 2, big tablespoon of water. So in there, I've got 2 tablespoons of flour, 4 tablespoons of water. Basically, we're making a food glue. This is just gonna ensure that nothing falls out, but also, so it was, but fuck off, man. Make sure nothing seeps out the edges while we're frying. Now, spring roll wrappers. Here's some I made earlier. They were in my freezer. I buy them, I freeze them. I keep shit like this in my freezer, just for times like this. So, there's 30 in here. I reckon our mix has probably done enough for, depends, if you do small ones, the whole bag. But I want to go like jumbo spring roll, right? Because you can always refreeze these. But what you're going to do is any ones that you've taken off, you're going to restack them on top of each other, and that way they're no longer stuck together, so you're not fucking peeling these the entire time. So look, there's one. We're just going to peel off a good few. And also these defrost really quickly. So once they've defrosted, peel them away and then stick them back in the freezer. Make sure they're covered so they don't get freezer burn. Right, so look, I've separated. We're gonna work corner to corner. We've got a nice amount of cabbage, bean sprouts, noodles, all of that stuff in here. And I wanna go quite big on them. Big guy. We're gonna go in, pull back, like that. I'm gonna do a first couple rolls, making sure they're tight. And then we're gonna turn these corners in, like so. And then we're going to bring them tight. This is where that little bit of food glue comes in. We're just gonna glue the edges down, like so. I like that one, it's beautiful and it's uniform. I wanna go on like I wanna do a fat thing, bruv. Like, then you go chip shop and you get those fucking spring rolls that are like, Jesus. I want those ones, bruv. So, let's see if we can do this without fucking breaking it. Just poking the edges in. The most important part is this bit, is the tuck and fold, and making sure that everything's trapped on the inside, right? Food glue it up. And if there's any, like you see that little hole, I'm gonna pack it with glue. I'm just gonna turn it in on itself, because I don't want any possible leakages, right? Pack it with glue and make sure it doesn't unravel. This seam that we've created, I'm also just going to rub some glue here, because these are the parts that can come undone. And to save us from crying about it, we're just going to rub them with a little bit of that food glue. A leak isn't that bad, to be honest. As long as it's like, if the oil's hot enough, you can fry them really quickly, because the mix is already cooked. So it's not the end of the world. Right, so they're all wrapped up. We're gonna dunk them in. Oil's at about 170. And we want them to fry quite fast. We're looking for like golden exterior. But don't overcrowd them. I'm gonna take them nice and golden brown. I'm gonna go 3 at a time, let them do their thing, and hope that none of them pop. Because otherwise my oil's fucked and we have to start again, which I don't really wanna do. So the mix on the inside's already cooked. So all we're really doing is getting crisp and warming the middle. That's it. Don't have to do nothing else. Let those fry, and we're gonna move into my chow mein section, ladies and gentlemen. The thing is with chow mein and any Chinese cooking, it's all about all set, all good to go, all ready, right? So, hot pan, a fair bit of oil, because we're gonna fry, and we also want that slipperiness on our noodles, right? Now, chicken has been marinating for about 40 minutes. I'm gonna go this in. We're gonna go in with this and get it frying and a nice colour. We're just looking for a golden, crispy exterior on our chicken. Give these all a flip. And it almost builds like a crispness to our chicken. Like the only way to describe it is like if you've ever had chicken satay and your satay is really crispy, that's got a corn flour velveting coating too. And you can do this with beef, pork, chicken, but velveting just takes it to that next level, gives it that authenticity as well, that you're like, oh shit, this actually tastes like fucking Chinese, bro. I've just turned these over, but I don't want to do any more cooking than that. So the corn flour acts as a barrier, which means that we get to keep in all the juices, all the heat and all the moisture. And I want soft, chewy, bouncy chicken in my chow mein. I don't want like fucking lamb, claggy, lamb chicken, long. I don't want that. Crispy, golden, crunchy, warm on the inside. And then we're just gonna keep loading. Oh, that was dangerous. Denzel, why'd you have to come out here when I've got a fucking hot vat of oil on? Right, it's like 3 more in, pan smoking. We're gonna go in with our onions. So I don't want loads of onions. Give those a couple seconds. And then we're gonna go in with our dry noodles. Now, there's a part of me that wants to like toss this pan about, right? But the key is with chow mein is that we have to cook off moisture. So these are quite dry already, these noodles, but I want them to touch the pan and just almost char on the bottom, right? So look, you see like these dark bits that we've got on our onion? We want to start building that on our chow mein too. Noodles are hot. I'm gonna go back in with our chicken, all the juices too. Right, so chicken's back in. We're gonna go about a tablespoon of MSG. A teaspoon of sugar. I'm gonna go a tablespoon of dark soy. Dark soy is purely for colour. And a tablespoon of light. Get that all mixed in. We're now looking to cook the noodles and the soy sauce until they're almost a little bit crispy and dark and intense, right? See, on these bits of noodle, we've got like this cooked bit of soy sauce in our noodle. Almost crispy soy sauce. We're in the right stages. There's no liquid in this pan. We're gonna go in with our 4 spring onions, just for a colour and a break. And we're gonna add our bean sprouts after the soy sauce goes in. They keep their colour. Little handful. And toss. Keep the heat up. Let the bean sprouts start to wilt. Same as the spring onions. I'm just going to plonk this down on a sharing thing. I'm going to go over the top. Just a fucking huge bowl of chicken chow mein. Not traditional, but I like to put a little bit of sesame oil just over the top after it's come out of the pan. Because I feel like if you put it in the pan, it just fucking disintegrates, evaporates, turns into an aroma and doesn't stay. So that we're gonna put to one side. And then here, we've got our spring rolls that we've cooked off. I just wanna have a little cross section. Fuck you. Ah, fuck off. I love spring rolls, and that's made me really fucking happy that the first time in my life I've made spring rolls, they were a success. Chow mein spring rolls, bruv. Individual. I like how you should be able to tell the difference in the strands of the noodles. Honestly, chewy, deep, rich flavour from dark soy sauce, cut of saltiness, crunch from bean sprouts, spring rolls, spring onions, 1 second. Spring onions, crispy, silky chicken. There's nothing fucking better than a chow mein, man. So the chicken, look, for something that we've cooked twice, the moisture in this chicken and like the silkiness you get from the corn flour on the outside, but it manages somehow to keep everything just succulent and juicy on the inside. It's just fucking great. And like, it almost breaks down the strands in the meat, so it feels like Chinese takeaway chicken. I can't go to a Chinese restaurant and order one thing. I don't know about you lot. I've never been to a Chinese restaurant in my life where I'm just like, I'll just have sweet and sour. Doesn't happen. I always need a little meze wherever I go, and no matter what nationality or where I'm eating, I need a little something something. So these, ladies and gentlemen, are our glass noodle spring rolls, cabbage, carrot, mushroom, pork, prawn. Everything you want to eat, wrapped in a golden, crispy exterior. It's hotter than the sun.
Still, fucking.
Salty, sweet, white pepper, little hidden bits of pork, chew from like cabbage, crunch from carrot. Like crispy exterior. So good, man. I honestly don't know what I'd do without spring rolls in my life. Mad. Next time you're thinking of getting a takeaway, just wait for a second. Instead of spending £70, I've just showed you how to make two very, very great things from your local Chinese. That if you learn how to make them, I promise you, you'll go back to them again and again. I'm gonna keep eating chow mein and spring rolls while the dog barks at me and puts his head on my lap. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Chow mein, spring roll, me, shut, sit down. Me, the dog, George, spring rolls, chow mein. BOSH. 2 prawn fried rice, 2 this, 2 that, 1 copo chicken. Hey, Big John's the fucking nicest guy in the world, man. When I met him, he was the fucking nicest guy. He's someone that I'd love to eat a Chinese with.
Chop House Films.
Can you say films?
Film.
Films.
Films.